The next tutorial on our DFR resources page is talking about ruck analysis. This is a brand new data resource here on the DFR website. And I've got Hef here to talk us through some analysis of the rucks here in the AFL. What am I looking at on this particular resource, Hef?
This is a really good tool, actually. Obviously, rucks are a bit of a specialist position when it comes to DFS. You can start your lineups by really working out which ruckman you want to target. There's usually only 2 or 3 or 4 in those single slate games. So what we've got is a tool that we can analyse every game over the past few years, and we can look at how much time a ruckman is having in the ruck, or how much they have to share with the backup ruck. We can look at how much of their score is down to hitouts, or whether they are good at scoring around the ground. And then obviously we can look at the ruckman they've been against each game and look at similar numbers for them.
So obviously, let's have a look at Sammy Jacobs. Was a notoriously solo ruck last year, and you can tell by the number 2 ruck is Josh Jenkins here, who was managed to get a couple of tap outs there. So what makes his data stand out from other particular rucks in the competition?
Sure. So if we have a look through his these columns there, obviously HO is hitouts. We can look at how many hitouts he's had in each game, and they're color coded so you can quickly see the big games and the smaller games. FP is the total fantasy points he scored that game, and then we also calculate for you the points accumulated around the ground, which is basically the points minus the hitouts. So you can get an idea on whether a ruckman needs to dominate the hitouts to score well, or if they can make up for that around the ground. If you see the R percentage column that you're on there, basically that's the percentage of team hitouts won by the first ruckman. So Sammy Jacobs has some really high numbers there because he's obviously spending most of his time in the ruck, and Josh Jenkins is chipping in there, but he's not getting many hitouts. So that's a really good figure to try and gauge how many bounces and ball ups the ruckman's attending. Finally, there you've got time on ground. And then if you go over to the other side, you see all those relevant stats for the player they were playing against, the ruckman they were against. So if you look at that hitouts column, there's quite a few red numbers. Straight away you're thinking, I'm a bit worried if I'm going up against Sammy Jacobs in terms of hitouts. So I want to be playing a ruckman who can score points around the ground, or I'm going to be in a bit of trouble.
Obviously, Sammy Jacobs was a very good solo ruck in 2018. Is there a particular team that comes to mind that would have been playing the old 2 rucks?
Yeah, if we have a look at West Coast. So obviously Nick Natanui was eased into the year, playing very low time on ground and shared a lot of the rucking with Scotty Lycett. So there you go. You can see early in the season that ruck percentage column is much lower than Jacobs. So they share the hitouts a lot more. You'll also notice the opposition ruck numbers, especially up until round 16, when unfortunately Natanui went down with his knee injury. We've got a lot of red figures there in the hitouts column. You scan through the fantasy points column, only one ruckman was able to score 100 against that Natanui-Lycett combo. So straight away we're thinking avoiding West Coast when we're looking to play ruckman is a great idea. And then you can even see when Natanui was injured, we can see the combo between Lycett and Vardy, and it was still more of a shared ruck role rather than we saw with Jacobs higher up on the table. So I think it shows some really good numbers, and it'll be really useful.
Look, personally, when I'm doing my builds for DFS AFL, I actually look at rucks to start with. I usually pick that particular position and then move on. So this is also be very handy just to double check if in a particular single game slate, or even just a smaller slate, that picking the right ruckman who's going to have the potential to score most fantasy points is key here, isn't it?
Definitely, it's going to save you a lot of time rather than trying to go back through a player's on a different site, maybe you're looking up at all the different games and how the opposition ruck fared against them. You get it all here on the one page. And if you just scroll up to the top again, we also link through to the points against section of our website there in Team Ruck Stats in the top right-hand corner. So you can get to the ruck analysis page off the cheat sheets, and then we can also click through quickly to have a look at these points against graphs, specifically for the ruckman. And you can see there that Adelaide and West Coast were both really hard to score against, and that sort of backs up the numbers we saw on that page previously.
And you look at the Bulldogs, and Bulldogs didn't really have a ruckman last year, so...
Yeah, load up against the Bulldogs, load up against the Nank, the Tigers. They used to leak them like anyone. Yeah, just some little trends you can pick up on and help you build better lineups, which is what we're here for.
Excellent. This is a very useful tool. It's just been released here on the DFR resources page here. So make sure you come check it out. And thanks, Hef, for taking us through the rucks.
Excellent. Thanks, mate. See ya.
Thanks, mate.